Deadly Dose, Families Fighting the Fentanyl Crisis, a News Channel 11 special presentation, brought to you by Ballad Health.
Tonight we continue our Deadly Dose series, taking a close look at how fentanyl has shaped our community.
It doesn't just affect everyday people, it's also completely changed how law enforcement operates. The sharp increase in fentanyl seizures sent to the TBI crime lab from Northeast Tennessee paints a stark picture. From 32 in 2019 to a projected 355 by the end of this year, each one a deadly drug that was circulating in our community.
News Channel 11's Ansley Daniel reveals the dangers the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation face as they help protect the volunteer state.
It can be aerosolized. It's been aerosolized. Fentanyl is not a drug. Fentanyl is a weapon, and it has been weaponized, especially in an illicit market. I mean, it should scare the hell out of them.
Tommy Farmer is the TBI special agent in charge with the drug division. He manages the Tennessee Dangerous Drugs Task Force. It
wasn't until it became very popular in the illicit front that fentanyl now is everywhere.
And he showed us how easy it is for a dealer to put too much.
Heroin, that may be a dose or a lethal dose of heroin. And again, that's a relative term depending on the person's tolerance. To fentanyl, which would be a pharmaceutical grade, typically 50 to 100 times more powerful than morphine. And then all the way down to a very strong analog of carfentanil, which is 10,000 or greater, or a fifth of a grain of salt.
It's easy to press into a pill, but breaking down how much and what it's mixed with is difficult.
A person can say, okay, well, I know that I put a gram in that. I put 1 teaspoon of fentanyl, and the rest is inert, it's inactive, or it's xylazine. A person can know that they did that much, but dosing it out, whether it's in a powder or a pill form, it's making sure that they put the exact amount in each person.
While Farmer gets the drugs in the field, Special Agent Forensic Scientist Michael Blakely tests them in the lab. He deciphers through more than 2,000 different varieties of fentanyl, among other drugs.
This is probably fentanyl mixed with other things. The generic run takes about 15 minutes, but we also have to run a blank prior to. And we also have to run a couple of column flushes beforehand to make sure that the blank is perfectly blank. So each sample is about 45 minutes of instrument time, and you have to have 2 tests for every single thing we identify. With all these fentanyl mixtures, almost all of them have to have a retention time, so we're running things multiple times.
He runs samples through a lab instrument to determine what drugs make up an evidence sample.
This will take mixtures, separate them into their components, and then identify every component in that particular substance. That peak is methamphetamine. This one is gabapentin. This one right here is fentanyl. That's 4-ANPP, which is a precursor to making fentanyl. It's usually in all the fentanyl cases that we see.
And he showed us what a fake oxycodone laced with fentanyl looks like.
These are made to look like M30s. M30s are 30 milligram oxycodones. And this has been the major counterfeited tablet. It's not quite right. It doesn't quite have the right font. That square isn't quite spaced right. That's what a legitimate one looks like. Basically, we don't see real M30s anymore.
But what if it's not in a pill?
If you touch fentanyl and you have dry hands, is fentanyl going to absorb into your skin just by simply touching a powder? No, it's not going to. Is it a possibility that fentanyl could be on a dollar bill? Absolutely. Is it a possibility that the person touched it and they died? I'd say that the chances are probably slim. We've had it in 1 cannabis sample, 1 hemp sample that came in. It was confirmed by the crime lab that there was fentanyl in that hemp sample.
And while a lot depends on a person's tolerance, it really doesn't take much to kill.
You would have to be in a clinical setting with a trained professional and the type of instrumentation and equipment to accurately dose that the way that it needs to be dosed. And then there's still risk. If we didn't learn anything about the opioid epidemic, even if it's pharmaceutical grade, even if there's still harms.
We will continue our coverage of our Deadly Dose series all week long.
We'll also have a special this Thursday starting at 7 o'clock on CBS and ABC. You can read more about the fentanyl crisis in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia on our website, WJHL.